Imagine running a business in India and living under the constant fear of facing a criminal charge, even for minor offences. Well, this has been the reality for many businesses for many decades. But the Government of India now is focusing on the vision of minimum government and maximum governance by the introduction of the Jan Vishwas Amendment of Provisions Bill 2026. Hello students, welcome to Drishti IAS. In this session, we are going to talk about the key features of this bill and how is it actually going to ensure that the people living in India, the business owners doing business in India actually have ease of doing business and ease of living. So let's see what's happening. So the Jan Vishwas Amendment of Provisions Bill 2026 has been introduced in Lok Sabha, and the major focus over here is to promote ease of doing business for the business owners in India and ease of living for all the citizens of India. And this is going to focus on the government's vision of minimum government and maximum governance. Now, how is this going to happen? So earlier, what was happening that even if there were minor offenses like if there was a compliance issue, if there was a procedural delay, let's say you forgot to renew your DL on time, or you missed the deadline by 2-3 days, or you missed renewing some certificate, a compliance certificate, let's say a shopkeeper or a business owner missed renewing the compliance certificate by 2 days, 3 days, or 5 days. So earlier, what could happen? You could also go to jail for that. There could be a criminal offense, a criminal charge on you, and you could go to jail for that. So basically, the punishment that we had for many minor offenses, it was not proportionate. It was very big. So now what is happening? That the Government of India decided to come up with the Jan Vishwas Act. Jan Vishwas Act of 2023. Wherein very minor offenses, these procedural delays, they were decriminalized. They were made not to fall under the criminal charge list, so that you don't have to go to court, don't have to face the jail, and don't have to deal with all these scenarios. You can simply pay a fine, fix the issue, and move on. So it focused on decriminalizing minor offenses. So this started in 2023 itself. This act basically decriminalized some 180 to 184 provisions of 49 central laws. 49 central laws, some Environment Act of 1986 or the Food Safety Act or the Railways Act, Insurance Act, etc. Some 49 central laws and many provisions were decriminalized. Started in 2023. Then in 2025, this Amendment to Provisions Bill was introduced in the Lok Sabha. And then after certain discussions, it was referred to a select committee which was headed by Mr. Tejasvi Surya. So the government here followed a consultative approach. It took consultations, it held exhaustive meetings with the industry leaders, business experts, citizens, etc. And then it came up with a resolution with recommendations that even in this bill of 2025, many reforms were needed. There was a need to redirect the approach, come up with more reforms, decriminalize a lot more offenses. So then what happened? That in 2026, this earlier bill was withdrawn and a new bill was introduced. So this bill that we are talking about, it is actually the new bill. It is Bill 2.0 that has been introduced in the Lok Sabha, which is focusing on what? It is focusing on decriminalizing the minor offenses and basically putting them in the civil offense category, that you simply pay a fine and you fix the issue and you move on. So let's see what's happening in this issue. There are some amendments. 79 laws have been targeted, 79 central laws have been targeted for promoting ease of doing business and ease of living also. 784 provisions are being amended and 717 offenses are decriminalized. This is a huge number. 717 offenses are being decriminalized. For example, if we talk about ease of living, so let's say you forgot to renew your DL on time. Now there is a 30-day grace period. 30-day grace period that will be given to you under the Motor Vehicles Act, so that if you forget to renew it by 2 days, 3 days, 5 days, 15 days, or even 30 days, you can get it renewed before 30 days. There's a 30-day grace period. You will not be charged under a criminal offense. You will not have to face the court. You will not have to face a court case and everything. There can be a minor penalty that you will have to pay, fix this issue, get it renewed and move on. So these are the amendments that are happening, and similarly multiple amendments are happening even for promoting the ease of doing business, so that more and more people can come in India. These foreign investors, they can come in India and invest in Indian businesses, so that they don't constantly live under the fear of facing a criminal offense, because that's a huge thing. So if we look at the key features over here, first and foremost, rationalization of penalties is happening. Rationalization of penalties meaning that based on the offense, your punishment is going to be decided. If it's a minor offense, it is not rational to put you under a criminal charge category. So based on the issue, based on the offense, penalty is going to be decided. And who is going to decide these penalties? Now we have adjudicating officers. Adjudicating officers are going to be appointed, and these officers will decide the penalty based on the offense that you have made, and then you can pay the fine and you can move on. So adjudicating officers are going to be there. Then if you are not happy, if you're not satisfied with the punishment that has been instilled upon you, you can go to the appellate authorities. So earlier what used to happen, even for minor offenses, if you're charged under a criminal category, you will have to go to the courts and you will have to face the consequences, whatever is decided. So the court will decide if you have to pay a fine, if you have to go to jail, or if you have to do both. Now this can be done, in many cases this can be done by the adjudicating officer itself. So the burden on courts is also going to be reduced. But let's say you're not happy or you're not satisfied with the punishment that has been instilled upon you by the adjudicating officer. In that case, you can go to the appellate authorities. Then there is an automatic escalation mechanism. Automatic escalation mechanism. This means that if you are a repeated offender, in that cases also you're going to be charged. First time would be a different charge, second time is going to be a different charge. And every 2 or 3 years, this offense is going to be, or the fine is going to be rationalized. So there's going to be an increase in the fine amount by 10% every 3 years. So there is going to be an increase in the fine amount by 10% every 3 years. Why is this happening? So A, it is happening in order to take care of inflation, and B, it is also happening so that a repeating offense does not become a habit of individuals, that you simply have this vision or this mindset that it's okay, I can make this offense, I can commit this offense, and I'll simply pay a fine and I'll move on. And this fine is a very small amount. Now imagine these amounts are going to be very small for big corporates. For small businesses, yes, they can be big amounts, but sometimes fines will be small amounts for big corporates. So this should not be the mindset of big corporates, that they simply keep on repeating the offenses because they feel that the fine amount is very negligible for them. So in that scenario also it is going to increase. That's why this provision has been introduced, that there is going to be an automatic escalation mechanism, that every 3 years this fine amount is going to increase by 10%. Then we have relief for first time offenders. This was also very much needed, because many times what happens that people do not really commit this on purpose. Sometimes they miss the deadline, sometimes they are in a haste and they upload the wrong documents, anything of that sort. In that case, if they're a first time offender, that is also taken under consideration, and in certain cases they are going to be relieved by simply a warning. A warning can be given to them and then they can be asked to move on. So there's a relief for first time offenders also. So that was all for this discussion. I hope you were able to understand what this bill is seeking to do. It is seeking to decriminalize minor offenses so that we can promote the ease of doing business and the ease of living in India. So that was all for this discussion. I hope you enjoyed the discussion. Now we'll look at the practice question for prelims. With reference to the Jan Vishwas Amendment of Provisions Bill 2026, consider the following statements. 1. It seeks to decriminalize certain minor offences by replacing imprisonment with monetary penalties. 2. It introduces an automatic escalation of fines periodically to maintain their deterrent value. 3. It abolishes all criminal penalties under laws related to environmental protection. 4. It provides for adjudicating officers to impose penalties instead of courts in certain cases. Choose the correct statements. A. 1 and 2 only. B. 1, 2 and 4 only. C. 2, 3 and 4 only. Or D. 1, 3 and 4 only. Please attempt this question and provide your answers in the comment section. Thank you for watching.
For more informative content, like, share and subscribe, and do not forget to press the bell icon to get the notifications.